Patrick McManus joins us now from the Perth studio to speak about Parkway Minerals. Thanks, Patrick, for your time today.
Oh, thank you, Danielle.
So, if you'd entertain us with an introduction, please, let's begin with an overview of Parkway Minerals and all of your various projects.
Sure. Parkway Minerals is a ASX-listed company focused pretty heavily on fertiliser feedstocks and projects in parts of the world with low sovereign risk and good infrastructure. So we're involved in several projects in Western Australia and a large shareholding in a company focused on potash exploration in central Germany. Also got a small shareholding in some other listed companies and around about $2 million worth of cash at the moment.
And could you give us a bit of an education, please, about potash as a commodity and the fertiliser markets?
Sure. Well, potash is one of the key fertilisers. Those of you who garden know the NPK fertiliser story. So there's three elements you need hundreds of kilograms per hectare every year for plants to grow as effectively as possible. And that's nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. And potash is the potassium component of that NPK. We're also, within Parkway, have a significant phosphate opportunity in our Dandaragan Trough, or our Dinner Hill project within the Dandaragan Trough. The market for fertilisers is a large one. It's about $170 billion a year and really focused or driven by population growth and arable land per person reducing and people around the world wanting and demanding better food. So the food experts believe we're going to want about twice as much food by 2050 as we produce now. And one of the most cost-effective ways of achieving that is the more effective use of fertilisers.
So yes, certainly seems like a growing demand for your products there. And let's speak a bit about your projects in detail. Can we start with the Davenport Project? Could you explain the structure behind that and the progress?
So Davenport is now an ASX-listed company. When we commenced our life as a new listed company, Parkway Minerals owned about 26% of the company. We have just passed within Davenport a significant milestone. We purchased 3 mining licenses from the German government, and that transaction was completed late last year. That was part of the mining plan when the South Harz region in which we're operating was a significant potash producer back in the GDR potash days prior to reunification of Germany. So these mining licenses that we purchased have a significant amount of exploration data associated with them. And we've been within Davenport, we've been working our way through that to establish exactly the resources that are on those 3 tenements. We've completed the work on 2 of them, and what was recently announced is a JORC compliant resource on the Barlee mining licence, and that resource is about 330 million tonnes of silverite at a grade of over 15% K2O, which is a very good grade by world standards, and a large tonnage. Also announced a large historic resource on one of the other mining licenses, and that is likely to follow Barlee and get a JORC compliant resource from that in the months ahead.
So it seems like a lot of good news with the Davenport project there in Germany. Could you tell us what's going on in Western Australia with your Lake Barlee project?
Yes, Danielle. Lake Barlee is roughly in the centre of Western Australia, about 200 kilometres north of Southern Cross. And it's a very large salt lake. We've got about 1,900 square kilometres of ground. There is a fair bit of interest within WA on extracting sulphate of potash from salt lakes within the state. There's a number of companies looking at that, and the attraction is sulphate of potash is a preferred fertiliser for vegetables and fruits and more high value agricultural products, as opposed to the MOP, which is about 80% of the world's potash market. Price of MOP has been low for the last several years. It's on its way back up now, but it's been hit by a marketing war with the major suppliers. Sulphate of potash hasn't been impacted by that, so the price of sulphate of potash has continued to be strong, and a number of companies are looking at exploiting that opportunity with potash from brines in salt lakes. So we took Lake Barlee and finalised the exploration ground early last year. We've done some geophysics and some surface sampling that shows the right sort of paleochannels exist, and there's good values of potassium in the surface waters. We're in the process now of starting or getting organised our first drilling campaign on Lake Barlee, which we'd hope to get started in the next few weeks.
Fantastic. And of course, Parkway Minerals was always very closely associated with the Dandaragan Trough project. Can you tell us what's going on with that nowadays?
It has progressed well. We've got at the Dinner Hill part of the Dandaragan Trough, which is very, very close to Perth and all the good infrastructure in that region. We've got a large resource with good values of both phosphates and potassium, and we've developed a scoping study level and evaluated a project to produce both sulphate of potash and phosphate materials from the thick seams of green sands in the Dinner Hill area. The next stage of work on that is a bankable feasibility study on the phosphate project. To complete that, we're looking for a joint venture partner to come in, and we've been, over the last 18 months, we've been looking for and talking to a number of people about joint venturing that out. At the moment, nothing to report to our shareholders on that, but discussions continue.
Well, what I can ask you about, that I'm sure shareholders will be interested in, is the financing for all of these plans at your various projects. What is the cash position for Parkway Minerals?
For Parkway Minerals, we've got about $1.8 million in the bank now, which is more than sufficient to do this first stage of drilling we're looking at for Lake Barlee, and indeed the second stage of drilling we do there, provided we're successful in the first one. We also have a small shareholding in some other listed companies, which we'll look to monetize at the right time. And Davenport is funded for its activities over the next 12 months.
And to line up with that, what are the next key news flows that we need to keep track of?
We're very keen to see Lake Barlee drilling as soon as possible. We haven't got a contract signed with the drilling company yet, but we expect that to happen soon. So I imagine Lake Barlee drilling and the assays from that work will be one of the milestones coming up soon. And within Davenport, the geological team are working through all of the data that we purchased with those mining licenses. We've been at it about 4 months now and got through about 2/3 of it as the first pass, but that will continue on over the next 6 to 9 months, and there'll be a lot of announcements coming out from that. The target from that is to find or to locate the best spot to do some further drilling, which will take, we believe, the resource up to indicated status.
Well, all the best with all of that, Patrick. Sounds like a lot going on. We certainly hope to have you back again to keep us in the loop.
Thank you very much, Danielle. Look forward to it.